Just over 100 years ago, the councillors of Albury decided that a town hall was needed. A building where the future of Albury would be decided, where important ceremonies would proudly take place, and where citizens would be honoured. A national competition was held calling for designs of Albury's new town hall.
There were 20 entries, and the committee, which was mostly council people, selected one by Gordon McKinnon from Sydney. If McKinnon was good at one thing, he was very good at embellishments. If you look at the building, it's got a tower with an ornamental guard and a flag. It's built with a slate roof, and that was unusual in Albury. The walls are very thick, 3-inch thick. That was to give it some kind of air conditioning. You've got the marble steps in, you've got the tiled floor, and you've got these huge ceilings, and some of them have the steel patterns on them. And the same at Adamshurst, you get huge rooms. He liked big buildings because he liked big spaces within them. So there are a lot of interesting features to the building.
Once the design phase was completed, it was on to construction. The council looked no further than the region to find the best people and materials for the job.
He was Ernest William Sharp. He was a master builder. He built the Albury Town Hall, won the contract, which he signed on the 4th of September 1907. The contract price was £3,707.
The foundation stone was laid on the 9th of December 1907 by the Honourable Thomas Waddell, the Colonial Treasurer of New South Wales.
I'm glad to know that it was a New South Welshman who had the honour of producing the best design for the new town hall. The fact that the contractor, Mr. Sharp, is a local man and a native of Albury gives me great satisfaction, and from what I know of Mr. Sharp, I feel certain he will perform his duties well.
Well, they were very proud that it was a local enterprise. Indeed, somebody made a speech saying this is built by local energy, local enterprise and grit. And grit was important because Albury had just emerged from the Federation drought and was beginning to gain a bit of economic confidence. So this was an expression of that economic confidence. So local artisans, and I think they made something like 200,000 bricks, local bricklayers, local labourers. This was an Albury construction.
Construction of the town hall went to plan and without incident, and was ready for opening on the 17th day of July 1908. The building was officially opened by the New South Wales Premier, Sir Charles Wade, and Albury had its town hall.
Council met here, council offices were downstairs. This is where people come to pay their rates or whatever. They did have some offices that they let out privately. This was to help defray the costs, so there were some private rentals went on. The vestibule itself was used just before and just after the Second World War as a tourist information bureau. So our very first cell of tourism in 1939, we stuck up some brochures and put an officer down in the vestibule of the town hall, and he was to entice visitors to come and spend in Albury. Past the vestibule, you walked into a little public hall. Now, public halls were used for all kinds of things, and that was for fair-winning the troops, for welcoming them back home, for recruitment meetings, for all kinds of public events.
There's a fantastic Russell Drysdale painting of recruitment of soldiers during World War II, which was from 1939 to 1945, and they had to go in there for their physicals and their written tests. And so the town hall in wartime was used for a different purpose, but still for the nation and the country, and to me that's a really interesting one as well.
Some major decisions were made in the town hall that have shaped Albury to what it is today.
Within a few years they made some very important decisions. Albury had launched into, or already had its water reticulation system, but within this building they were making decisions about having a sewage system, and they were making decisions about having electricity throughout Albury. And I think even more important, they were making decisions about a plan for Albury.
I think the first one of note was 1912, when Albury Council discussed having a Dean Square, which was the original name of what's now QE2 Square.
Then as the years went on, the town planner, about the time of the Second World War, Jack Sarvis, had a brilliant idea of making it into a place where you'd have a lot of cultural activities. And he wanted to widen Dean Square, and it became a civic square.
Another noteworthy event was the first woman to be elected to council. Alderman Ivy Bobby DeCann was elected in 1971. The town hall was more than a place for ceremonies and council meetings. It was also a workplace for the city's engineers, accounting clerks, officers and other council staff.
Yes, I started there in 1968 as a junior, and a particular memory of being interviewed in the upper floor of that building as a 17-year-old was a bit daunting. Fairly grand building of the day, and the town hall itself was only big enough to cater for, say, 30 staff perhaps, and some of the other staff were in adjacent buildings. Where you currently come in and the reception is on the right hand side, there was a big office there for the mayoral chamber, and he would have the after drinks after the council meeting, and small civic receptions in there, and the larger had to move somewhere else. And it was one hallway down the middle, with accounting on the left hand side and engineering on the right hand side, and the town clerk and his staff down at the rear. As Albury expanded and we needed the extra staff, that town hall just could not cater for them.
The last council meeting in the town hall was held in 1976, and the council moved to its new building in Kiewa Street. The town hall was now empty and its future uncertain.
The town hall was evacuated, for want of a better word, I suppose. The council operation moved around to Kiewa Street in 1975, and this building was just here. In fact, it was going to be demolished. Neville Wran, in about 1978, I think it was, decided he wanted to catch up with Victoria and make some of the regional gurries in New South Wales viable. And so he made a sum of money available to build or refurbish or whatever a gurry here in Albury. The first stage was completed in April 1981, and the stage 2 I think was 82, and I think we eventually completed the whole thing in about 83, 84, on budget, unbelievably, and more or less on time.
The town hall now serves as a cornerstone to the cultural precinct of Albury. The building is not only home to some of the finest works of art in the country, but some say that the building itself is a work of art that is worthy of being retained in its original form.
It's interesting to note that it's actually returning to its very origins. Town halls were traditionally a meeting place for the council, for the community, and the cultural precinct that we're trying to create, based around a village square model, is effectively a community meeting place. So it's a very important part of that community meeting place. It's about providing opportunity for the community. You can't build culture, you can't build cultural precincts. What you do is you build facilities and create opportunity, and then the community in fact take over and embrace it, and it becomes a true cultural precinct. It's a building of some beauty. It's got great substance, it's got beautiful architectural lines, it's historic, great heritage value, and it's absolutely fantastic to see it retained right within the middle of a city and the normal modern cityscape.